most people don't get licensed because they don't have a clear roadmap. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can structure your study to get your insurance license in under 2 weeks and succeed. Get out there and make it happen. My name is Luis. We've been getting people licensed for 10 years, and this is our licensing roadmap. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. You'll be able to get this PDF if you just let me know in the comments. I'll give you a copy of it. No email needed, nothing like that. I just want to give you access to it. But in this, we generalize this to any state. For our agents, we actually give them one individualized to the state that they're in. But this will give you a general guideline. Just make sure to check with your state. Every state is a little different. So this is, I want you to think of it as like a checklist. This is a clear roadmap as to what you, how to get licensed in your state. Now, obviously, the first thing is you have to pick the license that you're going to do. Our agents mostly get life insurance license, so that's what I'll focus on. But it's very similar for all licensing exams. So the first thing, obviously, choose your license. Number two, you're going to find a state-approved course, pre-licensing course provider. There's a bunch, and I'll actually create a video telling you, giving you a comparison about a few of them. So you'll probably see it here somewhere. You can click on it and watch it, and just that way you can decide. But the biggest thing that you want to know is every state is a little different. You have certain requirements. I know for example, in the state of Texas, you don't have to complete any pre-licensing. You can just go pass your exam. It'll be a little tough if you've never studied before, but that's the way it works. In Florida, there's a certain number of hours you have to put in. Both of those states have a six chapter a book or course that you need to complete, but in states like California, it's a 12 chapter course. So it'll vary state by state. You need to have a very clear picture of what you need for your state, and you can check that on the state websites exactly what to do. But you want to pick a course provider. And the biggest thing about a course provider is you need to have one that gives you results, has gotten people to pass, and lines up with your type of study. A lot of people, one of the things that I've learned in getting these licenses is a lot of people don't know how they study. I would highly encourage you to figure out how you study, because once you figure that out, then it's going to be very clear. Okay, we'll have a tips and techniques video later on where I give you some tips on the exam. This is not a memorization exam. You really do have to understand some of the concepts and implement them. And so don't just assume that you're going to get a course provider where you can memorize everything. Now, the next one is follow a structured study plan. So set up goals and follow it. So for example, we recommend number one, that everybody study every chapter and get every quiz knocked out. So there's 6 chapters. Most of our agents are in Texas and Florida. Knock out every chapter, knock out every quiz, complete the entire exam, and then you can move on to practice exams and study. But number one, knock those things out. Once you're done, any quizzes that you kind of failed, take them a few times just to get a better understanding of the material, and then complete a minimum of one practice exam. But likely, what we recommend is that you get at least an 85 on the practice exam before you go take your final exam. And so it's really recommended that you do that. And then review missed questions. You know, some of these course providers have a bank of questions where you can just revisit material that you've failed at. That's really helpful because you can go back and just study the material that you've been unable to understand, and if you get it wrong, ask for the explanation. And once you get, if you're getting about 20% of the exam wrong consistently, then don't worry about the stuff that you know, worry about the stuff that you don't know. So review the things that you missed, and then after that, you're going to take a practice exam that qualifies you for the course, meaning it says you've completed the course, you can now take your exam, and that's really it. So if you structured this, I think this part right here should take about a week of reviewing your chapter and doing the quizzes. And at the end of that first week, complete a final exam inside of the course that gives you course completion, not the state exam, but a course exam that tells the state step is to register for the state licensing exam. This is pretty simple. There's a bunch of course providers. You, again, check with your state. Each state is a little different, but you're probably going to have to register for that course provider, provide some information that typically require 2 forms of identification. So you want to make sure you have that, and choose an exam date at the latest, at the very latest, 3 weeks out from when you started studying. Okay, that's what I recommend. We've seen the sweet spot is 2.5 weeks. That's where most people that get licensed, they do it in about that time. If it takes longer, you really are going to lose a lot of momentum. If it's shorter, you may not have the material down packed, although some people do it. We've had people do it in 3 days. But that's rare. Most people, 2.5 weeks is a very good sweet spot. So schedule it out. And from the time that you do that to the time you pass your exam, it's just review, review, review. Do that over and over so that you can be ready for your exam. Once that is done, and you have your exam scheduled and you're reviewing, we recommend that you complete fingerprinting and background checks because you're going to need that when you send your state application up to your state. And so if you have this knocked out, it's really quite easy to take the next step. You don't have to do this in this order. We just like to help our agents get ramped up pretty quick. And so if you can, we really recommend that you do this, review the guidelines, the state, request a copy of the state application, and then you'll be able to submit it along with all your material so that you can get appointed or approved by your state to work in insurance. Okay, step number 6 is take the exam. So you completed your course in week 1. You've been reviewing, gotten your fingerprints and background check done in week 2. But also, you've been reviewing the material, making sure you take some practice exams, that kind of thing. And it's time to go take the exam. My recommendation is that you have a good night's rest right before the day of the exam. Eat a good breakfast. Knock it out early in the morning. If you need to take maybe a couple hours off of work, if it's possible, do that. You don't want to delay have any delays that cause you to miss your exam for any reason. And so here's where there's kind of two sides of it. Some people prefer to do it at home, and if you can do that and you feel comfortable with it, by all means, go for it. If you are not tech savvy, though, I highly recommend that you go to a testing center. Here's why: because if your tech fails at home, then the test providers count that as a missed exam. They don't count it as something went wrong, and so typically they charge you for another exam date. And so you want to avoid I mean, it's not a lot it's probably $40, $50, something like that, but you don't want to have those charges added to you. So it's best if you're not tech savvy, go to a testing center. Don't take it at home. Just go to a testing center. Unless you're in a remote area and you really need that, maybe you want to have your daughter or son be around so they can make sure that you're set up that morning. But if you're not tech savvy, we recommend go to a testing center. That's really quite important. And then once you've done that, you're going to pass the exam. That's the goal, right? At this point, you're going to want to apply for your license. And so you're going to have a state application that you have to complete in your state of residence, where you'll provide them information about yourself, your background check, answer some questions. This is one thing that's very important. Answer all those questions honestly and accurately. I can't tell you how many times somebody's skipped a question or just answered no because they were told that their charge from 1992 was dropped and it doesn't count and they don't have to do it, and then they get a fine from the state of residence because on to the state you lied on the application. Okay, doesn't matter. You got a DUI in 92 and now you have had zero issues for 20 years. They're going to approve you in all likelihood. We'll do a video on background issues, but really it's the most important thing is to be honest and direct so that they don't come back with any fines or anything along those lines. Once that's done, then really it's about connecting with an agency and making sure that you are ready to get to work and help clients and really be valuable to the people that you serve. So it's really simple. Again, this roadmap is available. If you would like to get a copy of it, just let us know in the comments. We'll give you a copy of it so that you can use it. And we have some for particular states. If that's helpful, let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that. But the goal is that you use this, pass your exam on the first try, and you can be successful in a career in insurance. My blessings to you. My name is Luis, and we've been licensing people for 10 years in this industry. It's really a matter of knowing what to do and then taking action on it. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.